Welcome to episode 1 of Digital Stories with Plethora IT. In this series, we bring you our favorite stories about brands, products, people, events, and more. For the first episode, let's talk about Nothing. In case you haven't heard of them, Nothing is a consumer electronics company headquartered in London. They specialize in smartphones, earphones, and other smartphone accessories. Although Nothing is a new kid on the block in the smartphone market, it's not the first rodeo for their founder and CEO, Carl Pei. He was formerly the co-founder of OnePlus and knows a thing or two about launching a successful smartphone company. As somebody who's recording this video on their third OnePlus phone, trust me, I know. For the scope of this video, we'll be discussing 6 very specific strategies that Nothing is using to make a mark for themselves in what is a very competitive smartphone market. The first strategy is the gimmick, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Nothing needed something very distinctive to differentiate themselves from a very crowded smartphone market where all modern smartphones kind of look and feel the same. In the case of Nothing, they came up with not 1 but 3 gimmicks. Number 1 was transparent devices. Pretty much all their devices, whether they're earphones or their smartphone, come with some sort of transparent body where you can see the inner intricacies of the technology that they're building. It is a design choice, and I'm sure there's a million manufacturing hurdles that they had to go through, but it really sets their phones and devices apart from the black slabs that we have become used to. The second gimmick is the glyph interface. It is the fancy branding that they've given to a series of LED lights on the back of their smartphones. Initially, those lights were meant to be a fancy notification LED, but eventually they've grown in functionality to have customizable ringtone patterns, to even track your timers and deliveries and things of that nature. In their current form, the glyph interfaces are not adding too much to the consumer experience, but it can help you recognize a Nothing device from a mile away. The third and final gimmick is the Nothing OS. It is a heavily skinned version of Android OS that is very distinctly Nothing again. Their black and white layouts with bold icons and monochrome styling, and with, I must add, a few handy features, is, again, from a software perspective, trying to create a very specific identity for what Nothing is. The second strategy is the faces. And by faces, I mean it's the personal branding that Nothing relies so heavily on in their marketing content. It starts at the very top with their CEO, Carl Pei, who features very frequently in their long and short form video content. But it doesn't just stop with him. His teams from the business vertical, from the manufacturing vertical, from tech and product and all sorts of different business verticals appear in video content that give you behind the scenes workings of what happens at Nothing to bring you the products that you and I buy. And finally, the way they engage with influencers is very unique. Whether it is the product launch that they did with Casey Neistat, or the interviews that they're doing with a lot of famous influencers, or even reacting to influencer feedback, is something that makes them more a part of the influencer community than some of the larger established brands. The third strategy is product development. More specifically, it's about how they talk about their product dev. Nothing gives you a level of insight into their product decisions that I haven't seen any popular brand do. Whether it's the life cycle of launching a product from prototype to retail stores, or talking about specific design decisions or manufacturing challenges, or in some cases, even some of the more crazy ideas that they discarded, and products that they really wanted to launch but failed at it. Giving you this level of insight into how the product was made and the journey that they had to go through to bring you that product gives you a sense of belonging with the Nothing community that most other marketing activities might not be able to do. The fourth strategy is perspective. Nothing recognizes and embraces the fact that they are a new company that needs to prove a lot. One way they do that is very openly talking about their competitors. They even go so far as to review some of the most popular smartphones in the market today. And they openly talk about how some of these other smartphones, or at least specific features of these smartphones, might even be better than the product that they themselves are launching. And they show a willingness to improve upon future iterations of the product while giving you reasons or logic behind some of their feature choices and product choices and pricing choices that they made. And again, it gives you the level of insight into their business decision making that makes you feel a part of their team, so to say. The fifth strategy is nothing drops. Think of these as your favorite band's tour calendar. What nothing does is that they visit strategic cities across the world for limited periods, where they allow their fans and consumers an opportunity to get hands-on with the product and get time to speak with their team. And it gives the users and customers and potential customers a very tactile, hands-on, offline interface with the brand that most small online brands are unable to provide their customers. The sixth strategy is positioning. While nothing launched as a mid-range player in the smartphone and earphone market, they really want to position themselves as a premium player. But they also want to make some bucks on the mass market where they can move a lot of devices. To achieve that, they have launched a sub-brand called CMF by Nothing, which is their more affordable, more young audiences oriented brand that helps them cater to the mass markets, especially in developing countries, without diluting the more premium enthusiast image of their main Nothing brand. These were the 6 strategies that we have seen Nothing use very successfully to create a niche for themselves in a very competitive smartphone market. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of Digital Stories with Plethora IT. If you like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.